We now move to the third looping structure, the for loop. It is worth repeating that the for loop is strictly a counter control loop, which means you must use numeric variables when using the for loop. Whereas with the while and the do while loop, although we use numeric data in the previous examples, you could use string or character data with those loops as well. The obvious advantage of a for loop is the fact that you can create the entire loop with one statement. The keyword for is followed by a set of parentheses, which inside the parentheses are the three requirements of the loop. That is, a declaration of the variable and an initial value of the variable being used for the loop. In our case, we're using the same variable that we used in the previous example, num, and we're setting it equal to 1. The second part of the for structure is the condition. As in the previous examples, we're testing for the value of num being less than or equal to 10. As long as this condition is true, the loop will continue to execute. The third component of the for loop is the update expression, or the increment. In this case, we're adding 1 to num, just as we did in the previous examples. As long as this is true, we are, in one statement, displaying the value of num along with the phrase num is equal to. Since this is a one-statement loop, there is no need for braces here. However, just like in the case of the while and the do while loop, if you need to execute multiple lines for this loop, you could use braces. Once the loop is terminated, the cout statement will display the words end of loop. Let's build and execute this program. And you'll observe that the output is virtually identical to the previous examples, in that it displays the numbers 1 through 10. Once again, we could change the initial value, we could change the condition that we're testing for, and we could change how we're incrementing, or in some cases decreasing the value of the variable. A couple of notes about syntax. You do use semicolons to separate the three components of the for statement. You also place the entire expression in parentheses immediately after the word for, but note there is not a semicolon following the right parentheses on the for statement itself. The for loop is simply an alternative to looping as opposed to the while loop or the do while loop. All three looping structures can be used almost interchangeably, with the exception that a for loop is limited to numeric data. If you study the while loop and the do while loop compared to the for loop, you will notice that the for statement provides a more convenient and compact way of coding a counter-controlled while loop. Once again, it is important to practice with the various looping techniques that we've discussed.